Back everybody, Matt the Man here, hope you're doing well. This weekend we had the new Conjuring movie come out, The Conjuring, The Last Rites. This is the fourth Conjuring movie in the Conjuring universe, in terms of just the Conjuring movies. Obviously there's been spin-offs like The Nun 2, Annabelle Creation, Annabelle Comes Home, La Llorona, and I think that's about it. And, I've been a fan of the Conjuring films all the way back to the first one. Came out in July of 2013. Directed by James Wan, the guy who shepherded the Saw franchise, the Insidious franchise. And then he tackled the Conjuring. And like that first one is great. I remember seeing it. It scared the shit out of me, that's for sure. Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga as Ed and Lorraine Warren were great. And then, 3 years later they made the sequel, The Conjuring 2. Now some people might even say it's even better than the first. I also like how it had that during Christmas time. Really made it more spooky. And then dealing with the nun. Now it was actually an afterthought and then added in, and it ended up making the movie work. And then we got The Conjuring Devil Made Me Do It in 2021 during the pandemic. And that was definitely the weakest of the Conjuring films. That was directed by Michael Chavez, who did La Llorona. Then he went on to do The Nun 2. And now he's returned to do the new Conjuring. So yeah, I was looking forward to this. They're calling it the last one. Now, will it really be the last one? Probably not. If this movie makes money this weekend, it won't be the last one. But there's also avenues that they can take that I won't go into here. But let's get into it. Positives. Vera Farmiga as Lorraine Warren. She is great in this role. Like most with Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga, their chemistry as Ed and Lorraine Warren is perfect. I mean, even, waiting another 4 years since the last movie, they got back into this, and it's like, just going about your normal routine. And this is one of those cases where, yeah, they're actors, they've been in other movies, but as soon as they stepped into these roles as Ed and Lorraine Warren, that is all I see is Ed and Lorraine Warren. I don't think of Patrick Wilson in Aquaman or Watchmen or Phantom of the Opera or whatever. Vera Farmiga, The Departed, Up in the Air. I just see them as Ed and Lorraine Warren. They have great chemistry. I love being in their world, their environment. A little fucked up environment, but it is what it is. We can't all be perfect. And like that, they have just great chemistry. Their characters, they feel like real characters. They don't feel like, they're just acting. No, they truly embody these characters. Now, I don't know if the real Ed and Lorraine Warren were like this in real life. I've never met them. But, like I said, they just bring something. And that's why watching this movie, they spent a lot more time with the Warren family. Like, dealing, with their daughter and other things. That I almost didn't mind not getting into the haunted, creepy, scary, the real purpose to see the movie, for the horror. So enthralled in this family. Also, Mia Tomlinson plays the older Judy Warren. Now, we've seen Judy Warren throughout all the movies, and even the Annabelle Comes Home spinoff. And each time, it's a different actress playing Judy Warren, unlike Vera Farmiga and Patrick Wilson, where it's always been them. Well, like I said, we're going through different decades in life. And like that, when you have a daughter or a son, they grow up as time goes on. So you really wouldn't even have the same actress play Judy Warren throughout all the movies because A, it's only been 12 years since the first movie, and by this movie, the girl would only be 12 years old. Well, in the movie universe, the girl's in her 20s, early mid 20s, so that wouldn't work on that level. And I like McKenna Grace, who played Judy Warren in Annabelle Comes Home. I thought she was good. But this, Mia Tomlinson, is great as Judy Warren. I like how they actually give her a lot to do in this movie. Like, other than for Annabelle Comes Home, Judy Warren was always just, you saw her, like, oh yeah, they have a daughter. Okay. And that was, a lot of the times, that's about it. I mean, yeah, Annabelle Comes Home, they give her a little bit more to do. But in this one, Judy is very much involved. She's involved with the case. She has a boyfriend, and we're going to get to him. Being there for her parents. And I like how and that's where, if they wanted to do another Conjuring movie, they could move on now to Judy Warren taking up the mantle. Her chemistry with Ned Hardy, her boyfriend in the movie, really great chemistry there. And then there's a new actress. I had to go and look her up on the IMDb. And she only had like 1 or 2 credits to her name. So she's like a brand new actress. And that's what also made it feel more real. You got an actress that everybody knows. You're just seeing that actress. But getting someone that's unknown, it really makes it feel more real, more believable. Also, Ben Hardy, who plays Tony, he did a great job. His chemistry, like I said, with Mia Tomlinson, also his back and forth with Patrick Wilson as, the father that needs to approve of the boyfriend, giving him shit and stuff. It all worked. He is funny, he's charming, and a lot of people know Ben Hardy from like X-Men Apocalypse. He played Angel. He was also in that Amazon film in 2021, The Voyagers, with Sydney Sweeney. He's the one taking the photos of Sydney Sweeney naked. Just in case you need to be reminded of who he is. Now you know. Yeah, I thought he did a great job. I love the story where we focus on more of the Warrens. Now, a lot of people might be mad about that. Like, okay, I came to see a movie to deal with the horror aspects, but we're spending too much time with the Warren family, away, a whole nother state, away from the actual haunting, when I didn't mind it. And there were some jump scares. The scariest scenes we do get, the horror elements, I thought they were effective. I jumped a few times. I almost covered my face a few times. Yes, I still do that at 35 years old. And who knows how to make movies. But hey, and I know it's not real. But hey, they still do it sometimes. And what I also loved about this, even though this is the 4th movie, it felt like the ending of a trilogy. Like the last 15 minutes of this movie. And even throughout the movie, characters we see that maybe we haven't seen since the first one or the second one. And I was like, yeah, this feels like an ending to a trilogy. Wrapping up every character, closing plot lines. There's a wedding scene that even the people in this wedding scene are people that from the first movie, second movie, third movie, that I'm just like, it's like all coming together. And there's I won't spoil who it is, but there's an actress that shows up near the end of this movie that was in the first one that I almost jumped out of my chair. Not because I was scared, because this actress hasn't acted in almost 5 years. And I was like, Oh my God, they got her. Now I'm going to question maybe one day why they got that actress and not somebody else who was in the first movie, but that's a whole other story. But I was so happy when I saw this actress. I think, oh, maybe she's finally making her comeback in the movies. Some of my negatives, and also I think Michael Chavez, rather than he did the third Conjuring, now he did this one. This is definitely the best film he's directed so far. Now you can take that how you want, but I think he's getting better and better each film he makes, which is good. My negative, this is 2 hours and 15 minutes. This is actually only a minute longer than the second movie. But I think because and like I said, if you're one of those people that wants to see more of the horror elements and not so much of the Warrens, you might feel a little bummed that we're spending so much time with the Warrens that it's dragging the pace down. I would even say it's almost 90 minutes into this movie till the Warrens actually get involved in the case. 90 minutes. Yeah. And as I said, I thought there were times that the balance between the Warren family and the Smurls, the family that's getting haunted, is not enough of a balance. Sometimes we spend so much time with the Warrens that it almost makes me feel like the haunting part of the movie is an afterthought. Like, oh yeah, we need to get back to the haunting part. And I wish they explored more of the entity that is haunting this family, that's also connected to the Warrens. I feel like they didn't explore that enough, and that's where, like I said, going to my last thing, if we spent more time with the family that's haunted rather than the Warrens, maybe we would have been able to explore more of this demon, this entity that is after this family, but also wants the Warrens for some reason. But overall, like I said, I think it was a good Conjuring film, better than the third one, and definitely was a great way to wrap up. If this is the last time we'll see Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga, or if this is the last Conjuring movie, like I said, it felt like watching Lord of the Rings: The Return of the King, where you had those last 20 minutes of Return of the King, wrapping up all the plot lines, conclusions, characters, and that's how I felt like the last 15 minutes of this movie was. So I would give this a 4.3 out of 5. Let me know in the comments below, did you see The Conjuring Last Rites? Are you a fan of the Conjuring movies? Do you want to see the franchise continue? Let me know what Conjuring movie is your favorite. Matt the Matt, hit that subscribe button. You know, we're getting into the Halloween season in another month. I'll be doing a lot of Halloween specials throughout October. You're going to want to be tuned in. So hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, Matt the Matt.